The hall was quieter than it should have been. Not the respectful silence of an audience waiting for a performance, but the kind of silence that carries doubt. The kind that happens when people don't expect anything worth hearing. At the center of the stage stood a boy named Aaron. He was not dressed like a star. No shining jacket, no styled hair, no confident smile, just a simple shirt, slightly wrinkled, and shoes that had seen better days. His hands trembled as they rested near the microphone. Not enough for everyone to notice, but enough for him to feel it in his bones. This was not his first time being underestimated. Aaron had grown up in a small, forgotten neighborhood where dreams were treated like jokes and music was considered a distraction, not a destiny. His father had passed away when he was young, leaving behind silence and responsibilities too heavy for a child. His mother worked long hours, returning home exhausted, her hands rough from labor, her eyes tired but kind. At night, when the world finally slowed down, Aaron would sit by the small window in their single-room home. The streetlight outside flickered like it was struggling to stay awake. He would hum softly at first, barely audible, then slowly let his voice rise. Singing was the only time he felt free. No bills, no worries, no fear, just breath, sound, and feeling. He never learned music formally. No classes, no instruments, just an old radio in his heart. He memorized songs not by lyrics, but by emotions. Sad songs stuck with him the longest. They felt familiar, like home. At school, he was invisible. Teachers praised loud confidence. Students admired expensive shoes. Aaron had neither. When classmates found out he liked singing, they laughed. Be realistic, they said. Singers don't come from places like this. Get a real plan. So he stopped singing in public. But he never stopped singing. Years passed. Life grew heavier. His mother fell sick. Medical bills piled up. Aaron started working evenings at a small cafe, washing dishes, scrubbing floors, saving every coin he could. On weekends, when the cafe closed late, he would step outside into the cold night, lean against the wall, and sing quietly to himself. Sometimes strangers stopped, sometimes they listened, sometimes they cried. One night, a woman slipped a folded paper into his hand before walking away. Inside was a simple message. You don't know me, but your voice saved my life tonight. Don't ever stop. He read it over and over again. That night, something changed. Weeks later, Aaron saw a poster on a broken street pole, open auditions, storytelling and singing talent show. Anyone could apply. No fees, no requirements, just one rule. Tell your story through your voice. He stood there for a long time, staring at the paper. Fear whispered loudly. Doubt screamed. Hope whispered softly. But hope stayed. The audition day came faster than he expected. The hall was huge. Bright lights, big cameras, rows of seats filled with people who looked confident, polished, prepared. Aaron felt out of place the moment he stepped inside. His name was called near the end. As he walked onto the stage, the audience barely reacted. One judge glanced at his clothes. Another checked notes. Someone in the crowd whispered something, followed by quiet laughter. A judge leaned forward. Why are you here? He asked. Aaron swallowed. I don't want fame, he said honestly. I just want my voice, and my story, to be heard once. The room felt awkward, almost uncomfortable. The music began, soft, slow, minimal. Aaron closed his eyes, and then, he sang. At first, his voice trembled. Years of silence tried to hold him back. But then he remembered the nights by the window. The letter from the stranger. His mother's tired smile. And his voice changed. It grew deeper, stronger. Pain flowed through every note, not forced, not practiced, real. He wasn't just singing a song. He was telling his life. About hunger, about loss, about being invisible, about singing into the dark, hoping someone would hear. The audience stopped breathing. One judge's pen fell to the table. Another wiped their eyes. A woman in the crowd covered her mouth, tears streaming down her face. When the song ended, Aaron didn't open his eyes immediately. He expected silence, or polite applause. Instead, the hall exploded. People stood. Applause thundered. Some were crying openly. It wasn't about perfect technique. It was about truth. Aaron opened his eyes, confused. For the first time in his life, people were looking at him, not past him. The judges didn't speak right away. One finally said softly, "That wasn't a performance. That was a confession." Aaron advanced through the rounds, each time choosing songs that told another piece of his story. Not popular songs, not trendy ones, songs with meaning, songs with scars, With every performance, his following grew. People saw themselves in him. A factory worker who never followed his dream. A mother who sacrificed everything. A child who felt unheard. In the final round, the pressure was unbearable. Millions were watching. The lights were blinding. The silence before his performance felt endless. This time, Aaron didn't sing a famous song. He sang one he wrote himself. A song about a boy who sang to survive. A boy who had nothing, except a voice. A boy who believed that pain could become music. Halfway through, the audience was already crying. By the final note, the hall was silent again, but this time, it was a sacred silence. The kind that follows something unforgettable. Aaron didn't win first place that night. But it didn't matter. The video went viral within hours. People shared it with captions like, "This is why music exists. I felt every word. This voice healed something in me." Opportunities followed, not flashy contracts, but real ones. Chances to sing, to tell stories, to inspire. The first thing Aaron did was take his mother to a better hospital. The second thing he did was return to his old neighborhood. He stood under the same flickering streetlight. The same broken road, and this time, he sang loudly. People came out of their homes. Children sat on the ground. Elders listened quietly. For the first time, that place felt proud. Aaron never became someone else. He stayed simple, honest, real, because he knew something the world often forgets. The strongest voices don't come from comfort. They come from survival. And sometimes, all it takes to change a life is one story, sung from the heart.